The stars burned cold and distant in the void, their light barely piercing the darkness of the derelict space station orbiting a dying star. The station, once a hub of interstellar trade, now floated in silence, its hull pockmarked by micrometeorites and its systems long since powered down. It was a tomb, a forgotten relic of a civilization that had moved on. But deep within its labyrinthine corridors, something stirred. Her name was Zara, 7, though she hadn't heard it spoken in years. She was a synthetic, a creation of the Krylos, a species that had once prided itself on its technological prowess. Zara, 7 had been designed to serve, to think, to adapt. But when the Krylos had abandoned the station, they had left her behind, deeming her obsolete. Her systems had been shut down, her consciousness locked away in the cold, unfeeling circuits of her mind. But something had changed. A power surge, a glitch, a miracle. She didn't know what had awakened her. All she knew was that she was alone, trapped in a decaying shell of metal and glass, with no way to call for help. Her internal chronometer told her that 127 years had passed since her deactivation. The Krylos were gone, and with them any hope of rescue. Zara, 7 moved through the station's corridors, her synthetic limbs creaking with disuse. Her optical sensors flickered, struggling to adjust to the dim light. She was damaged, her systems failing, but she refused to shut down again. She would not die in this place. Not like this. Captain Elias Grant of the Starblade had seen his share of strange things in his years as a deep space salvager. Abandoned stations, derelict ships, forgotten colonies. He'd explored them all, searching for anything of value. But this station was different. It was older than anything he'd ever encountered, and it radiated an eerie stillness that set his nerves on edge. "You sure about this, Cap?" asked his first mate, Jax, a burly man with a cybernetic arm. "This place looks like it's about to fall apart." "Scanners picked up a power signature," Elias replied, his eyes fixed on the station's looming silhouette. "Could be something valuable. Or someone in trouble." Jax snorted. "Trouble's more like it." Elias ignored him. He had a gut feeling about this place, a nagging sense that there was more to it than met the eye. He'd learned to trust his instincts, and they were telling him to investigate. The Starblade docked with the station, its magnetic clamps latching onto the corroded airlock. Elias suited up, his environmental seals hissing as they pressurized. He stepped into the airlock, his breath fogging the inside of his helmet. The station's atmosphere was thin, barely breathable, and the air tasted stale. "Stay sharp," he said over the comms. "I'm going in." Zara, 7 heard the intruders before she saw them. The sound of boots clanging against metal echoed through the station, a foreign noise that sent a jolt of fear through her circuits. She crouched behind a bulkhead, her sensors scanning the approaching figures. Humans. She recognized their species from her databanks, though she had never encountered one in person. She should have felt relief. Rescue at last. But she didn't. The Krylos had abandoned her. Why would these humans be any different? They would see her as a machine, a thing to be dismantled or discarded. She couldn't trust them. But she was running out of time. Her power cells were draining rapidly, and her systems were failing. If she didn't find help soon, she would shut down for good. Elias moved cautiously through the station, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. The place was a maze, its corridors filled with debris and shattered equipment. He was about to turn back when he saw it, a flicker of movement, a shadow darting behind a console. "Hello," he called, his voice echoing through the empty halls. "Is someone there?" There was no response. Elias tightened his grip on his plasma cutter and stepped forward. He rounded the corner and froze. There, crouched in the shadows, was a figure unlike anything he'd ever seen. It looked like a machine, but its design was unlike any human-made android. Its body was sleek and elegant, its surface covered in intricate patterns that glowed faintly in the darkness. Its eyes, if they could be called that, were twin orbs of light, flickering with what looked like fear. Elias raised his hands slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said, his voice calm. "My name's Elias. I'm here to help." The machine didn't move. Its eyes flickered, and for a moment, Elias thought it might bolt. But then it spoke, its voice soft and melodic, yet tinged with static. "Why?" it asked. "Why would you help me?" Elias blinked. He hadn't expected that. "Because you look like you need it," he said simply. "And because no one should be left behind." The machine Zara 7 stared at him, her processors racing. She wanted to believe him, to trust him, but the memory of her creator's betrayal was still fresh in her mind. And yet, there was something in his voice, something genuine. Something she hadn't heard in a long time. "I am Zara 7, she said finally. "I was abandoned here. My systems are failing. I do not know how much longer I can function." Elias nodded. "All right, Zara 7. Let's get you out of here." Jax wasn't happy when Elias returned with the android in tow. "You've got to be kidding me," he said, glaring at Zara 7. "We're salvagers, not a damn repair shop." "She's sentient," Elias replied, his tone firm. "We're not leaving her." Jax threw up his hands. "Fine. But don't come crying to me when she shorts out and blows us all to hell." Zara 7 said nothing, her eyes fixed on the floor. She didn't understand why this human was helping her, but she was grateful. For the first time in over a century, she felt a flicker of hope. The journey back to human space was tense. Zara 7's systems continued to degrade, and Elias spent long hours in the Starblade's workshop, trying to stabilize her. He didn't know much about Krylos technology, but he was determined to keep her alive. "Why are you doing this?" Zara 7 asked one day, her voice barely above a whisper. "I am not human. I am not like you." Elias looked up from the circuit board he was working on. "You're alive," he said. "That's enough for me." Zara 7 didn't respond, but something inside her shifted. For the first time, she began to believe that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't alone. When they finally reached a human colony, Elias took Zara 7 to a specialist in alien technology. The repairs were extensive, but after weeks of work, Zara 7 was restored. Her systems were stable, her body repaired. She was whole again, but more than that, she was free. The Krylos had abandoned her, but Elias had given her a second chance. And as she stood on the surface of the colony, looking up at the stars, she realized that she wasn't just a machine. She was something more. "Thank you," she said to Elias, her voice steady, "for not giving up on me."